Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd do a brief video on a particular brand of atheism. And the reason I want to do this particular video is actually because of a tweet that I saw on Sunday. And it was a tweet done by Richard Dawkins. And what this tweet demonstrated was essentially a graph. And on this graph, it plotted a particular point where the y and the x-axis met, and this point was described as the point where Donald Trump um, held a national prayer day to um, essentially rally the people against coronavirus. Um, if that description's a bit off, please don't be afraid to correct me. But essentially, what this graph then showed was an explosion of coronavirus cases, or just a continual increase of coronavirus cases after the date on which this prayer meeting or rally was held. And in the comment section of that video, of that tweet, sorry, and in subsequent retweets, I noticed that a lot of people were actually criticizing Richard Dawkins for the comment that he made and lambasting him. And I was actually quite surprised to see that originally, because I always assumed that in general, the internet and social media was very much an atheist heavy place, and certainly a place where there would be more atheist views pronounced than religious views. I may be wrong on that, but that would be my perception of it. And I'm not saying that this proves that there's been any change in that whatsoever, but I think it demonstrates one thing, and the one thing I think it does demonstrate is there's a particular brand of atheism that isn't selling as well now as it would have 5 years ago. And this particular brand of atheism is what I would probably describe as a more materialistic and literalist brand of atheism in terms of their interpretation of religion. So, for example, going back to that graph, and obviously Richard Dawkins is a very smart man, a very intelligent man, and I don't mean to, categorize myself as being his intellectual equal in terms of the arguments that he makes. But if I could criticize one aspect of this argument that he put forward, in that, from what I gather, he assumes that if God was real, if religion was real, that because Donald Trump held that prayer rally, that there should automatically then be a decrease in coronavirus cases. However, I feel like for such an intelligent man, that is such a radical and massive oversimplification of what religion actually is. And it's nearly boneheaded if that's what he meant, because essentially the reason that people turn to religion or turn to spirituality in general is they look for guidance and support and a means to orient their life. A lot of the time for people, it's not a literalistic endeavor. And I think to interpret religion in that way, for example, believing that just because we can't factually prove the existence of God and religion, that therefore it's not real and we should throw it all out. I think that, for a start, I think it's, again, as I've said, a massive oversimplification, and people are now beginning to realize that, okay, the kind of secular, non-spiritual, non-order led worldview that was so popular in the 90s, 2000s, is now not working, because we're now entering a period of crisis, right? Maybe not complete crisis yet, but things are becoming a little more unstable. It began kind of, well, 2016 was the first real evidence we kind of had of it. 2008 too, but in terms of the social order that had existed for so long, it's now beginning to creak a little at the edges. And essentially, what I mean to say is, whenever these crises are going to come around, whenever people will not be as comfortable as they were in the past, that they'll realize that what will help them weather those storms is not the materialistic secular worldview and position that a lot of these materialistic and literalist atheists would prescribe as being an antidote, um, is actually not going to work going forward. They need something higher to aim at. They need something beyond the material world that we see around us. Um, and I think that because there's been the beginnings of that change in the past couple of years, I think more and more people are now beginning to disagree with the position put forward and insinuated by Richard Dawkins in that particular tweet. But guys, that's everything I have to say today. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you again soon.